Hi and welcome to my channel. This is Irina Chapun. I'm going to readjust a little bit this thing so you can hear me. So I choose to make yet another session in English to keep developing myself and hopefully reach out to more people. As I said, my name is Irina Chapun. That's what I call my higher self. When I'm doing sessions, when I'm channeling, when I'm coaching, when I'm using, basically, I feel like I'm more Irina Chapun than my personality, ego, birth self, that my original birth certificate names nowadays, actually. I feel like I'm more in my higher self, which I feel is a good thing. Yes, so I've been thinking about what to talk about in my next session. I call it sessions because what I'm trying to do with my live sessions is sharing, coaching, but in a way, by coaching and inspiring, I mean by sharing my own experiences in life. Mostly what I've gone through myself, but also what I learned through other people I met, and being friends with what I learned from them, what they have been going through, and also what I read, because my interests are reading about psychology, new different kind of subjects that belongs in the category of New Age, like previous lives. Living that we have options to choose and live many different timelines in the here moment, live in the now moment, meaning like we have always have options to switch to another timeline, another destiny, so to speak. So we are not just born with one destiny in a mind or in our heart and soul. We have a few, I don't know how many options, but we have options between different destinies in each life we live. That's what I mostly have been experienced in reading about. Also science, I went to scientific program in high school. But if I can choose what to study in my free time, is psychology, personal development, of course, and healing, everything that belongs to the, so to speak, supernatural, or the other dimensions of existence and how they affect our dimension that we live in at the current moment. Which is 3D, 4D, or 5D, or everything is actually happening in the same place at the same time, but it's depending on our own energy frequency, our current energy frequency, that decides what dimension we actually experiencing right now. And I feel like I worked so hard with myself, and finally I came out, and I feel like now I'm in 5D. I might be wrong though, but I feel like I'm the most happiest I ever been, actually, in my life. And that is before I'm 40, so I'm happy about that. I feel like I reached a big goal in my life, to feel like content, happy, and settled in life. But the topic is not actually describing being completely 100% happy and that things are feeling smooth and easy. And actually, this is the first time since I felt like I reached a new stage in my life, which was in 2016. I was in Bali for the first 3 months of 2016. I did yoga, ate only raw food, met so cool and wonderful people living their dreams, getting so inspired. After that, I felt like sometime a few months after that, sometime during the summer, I just felt like sort of like healed from my previous issues that I felt had hold me back and kept me down from living my dreams. And I felt, for the first time in my life, I felt like completely free in 2016. But actually, the latest, I don't know when it started really, but I've been feeling, especially the latest weeks this summer, and stronger for every week, especially now the last month. I felt like I've been sort of like tortured mentally and emotionally. And that is because, as the title describes, to do a 180. To do a 180, by that I mean that you might be thinking you're going somewhere in life. You might be heading like, you might think you have plans, you have goals, and you think you are on the right track and that you're heading in the right direction. But all of a sudden, now I will give some different scenarios. I will mostly talk about my own experience, but I will give the different scenarios that things we cannot control. For example, is if somebody within our family, for example, if somebody within our family passes away, or it could be somebody that we've been close to passes away, that will force us to do a 180, most likely. It can also be if you have a partner, a romantical partner, if that person is maybe breaking up with you, maybe cheating on you, and you find out, that will maybe force you to do a 180 as well. It's so many things. It can be that you get fired from your job. It can be many things that comes from the outside that are like forcing you into a new state, like feeling lost. But I thought I was going in this way. I thought I had plans. I thought we were doing this now, and now all of a sudden this happens, and what should I do? I need to change all my plans now. That's what I call being forced to do a 180. I can't remember if I've been forced to do a 180. I'm the kind of person, I'm a bit lazy in one way, because I feel like the most convenient for me, what I feel least pain is when somebody else forces me to do a 180. For example, something happens that I can't control, and it forces me to. It could be an inner transformation, start to think in a different way, maybe change my plans, or it can be something that forces me to change my lifestyle. But since I don't remember that has never been sort of like a trauma for me, because I'm quite adjustable and flexible, and I love the feeling of not knowing what's next and what's going to happen. That's actually what I thrive on. Usually when I stop something, when I stop a relationship, or when I stop, like, for example, recently I quit both my jobs. This in the beginning of this summer, I just felt last year already like I can't imagine myself doing these jobs next year as well, because things have been going the same way for so many years now, and I haven't really been. That's the jobs I had, they can't take me to where I want to be, So that was sort of like, I don't call that doing a 180, because that was not sort of, to be forced to do a 180 is sort of like a bit traumatizing actually. And for me, that it could be for some, but for me that wasn't it. But I started this summer by doing that, quitting my jobs, both of them. So now I'm completely without a job, but I have a bank loan that supports me, and I'm not worried about that, work or money, because I know that the worst thing that can happen is that I have to go back to a similar job starting the routine, doing the same thing again, but that will keep me in the same place. And I'm looking for more realizing my dreams. As for example, I want to work as a coach, intuitive coach, emotional coach, health coach, and also do a little bit, maybe a little bit of everything, but working for myself. That's sort of my dream. Obviously, I will need to find another job as well, but hopefully something that's different to what I've been doing before, because I won't be able to build up sort of a business and a budget, an income that's enough to support me when my loan is starting to run out, when I start to run out of money. So my plan is to get another job, and hopefully that's more similar to what I want to do, and then also start my own business on the side. But back to the 180. So you can be forced to do 180, as I said. It can happen dramatic things in your life around you, among your family, friends, partner, that forces you to completely change your plans, your dreams even maybe. You might have to rethink everything and change your life according to what's happened. That's doing a 180. As I said, I can't remember that happened to me, but I've been forcing myself to do 180 because I got very strong, through my life I had very strong inner callings, like getting at certain points in my life, you can call it a crisis or whatever. I've been feeling very strong intuition, a voice guiding me in my head, or several sometimes. I'm not mentally ill, I know that. It's just my intuition gets very strong, and I get connected to my higher self and my spiritual guides, and they can sort of show me different scenarios in life, what's going to happen if I choose between these different timelines. And my 180 right now, that I'm feeling I'm forced to do, I haven't decided if I'm going to do it or not, is about what kind of timeline I want to choose next, because I have this sort of vision, the highest vision of myself, and how I want to live my life. I know actually that's on a different timeline than I'm currently heading at. So that's the traumatizing part for me, and I didn't think it was, but I just this summer, and especially in the last weeks, I realized that through dreams and through strong emotions, and also sort of like you feel an inner calling, you know that something feels like no, I don't know about that anymore, and something else is sort of like pulling you towards it, like you should try this road instead. So right now I'm at a crossing like that in my life, and I know that the difficult thing, I'm talking about my experience here, like for example, to do a 180 doesn't need to be emotionally painful, but it involves some kind of lower feeling, like fear, resistance, resistance of movement, fear. It could be sorrow, sadness, grief. It could be all that together, or just one of those things. It could be something else as well that I'm not aware about, because as I said, I'm talking about my experiences and what I learned from other people's experiences. So the sad thing I feel is I know something good is waiting for me, but I also know that no matter what timeline I choose, and I feel like now currently there are two strong timelines for me, and I thought I could have everything together at once, I thought I could do it all together, but I just this summer and the latest weeks more and more felt like no, you will either get this, sure, you will be quite happy with this, but then you will never get that. Um, and then I need to what I since I've been here before, I remember the first time I remember a strong timeline break or timeline stop issue where I had to choose was in 2009. It was before New Year. I was in New York for a few months. I had quit one of my jobs yet again, like now, and I was married and I left my partner and I went to New York to sort of figure out and get inspired what to do, meet people, and I did all that. But I also came to the devastating conclusion that I had to choose a timeline to either stay with my husband or to move on by myself. And neither of them seemed like a fun option right then, because I knew it would be painful, very painful to leave, and also in the long run painful to stay, because I wouldn't have expanded and developed as a person or a soul as much if I had stayed. And yeah, that was sort of a timeline choice I got then, which was really resistant, it was painful, it was fearful, everything. It was like a bomb was dropped in my life completely, and I didn't know what was up or down or inside out or anything. I was totally confused. And now it's much more easy actually. I'm older and I know more clearly what I want from life. I know where I'm heading. I know my dream job, how that's supposed to be like. I also know my dream relationship, how I want it to be like. But still, I know that to get through to when you in the beginning when you should do a 180 and you pull the brakes and you swap gears and you just decide to move slowly in another direction. Is in the beginning it's always a little bit scary, painful it could be. It's also you don't you might have your vision about how you want things to be, but you have no guarantees. You never get any guarantees that you are right, you make the right decision, because there is no right or wrong. It's only different choices, different options. You don't really. What I'm trying to do is I'm trying to figure out with each choice what I will lose and what I will gain from it. So, and comparing those two options, for thankfully I feel like I just have two strong options right now, two timelines to choose between. I mean, I'm sure some people have maybe 3 or 4 or 5 or many more opportunities than me. So in that case, it's much more difficult, I would say. But for me, I have two strong pulls right now. One more has to do with responsibility, to be more traditional, and to make what I believe many people in my life happy. The other option is all about me, actually. The other option is all about me, is to choose myself first, to put myself first, to put everything, all my energy into myself, and to reach my dreams, to try to focus to reach my dreams, not to get distracted by others, friends, relationships, family. And actually, what pulls me strongest right now is myself, to choose the road for myself, only for myself, and not think about others first. Because I think also in the long run, if I make myself happy, if I reach these goals that I have or dreams that I have and try to reach them, in the end I will make more people happy and I will inspire more people than in the short term by choosing the easiest option, which is maybe thinking like I have too high goals for myself. I have too high ideals about things, how things should be, that might never come true, and that's why I should stay and be happy as it is, and just not make too many big changes. Just yeah, as you can see, I'm not completely sure what to do about what way to choose here between these two timelines. But the strongest pull, I must say, is the now or never pull. It feels like, because I'm turning 40 soon, next year, early spring next year, and I feel like to choose myself and to choose a timeline where I put myself in the center, where I just focus on myself, which I could have done easily. I could have done it when I was a teenager, I could have done it when I was in my 20s, I could have done it after I divorced, but I was so occupied by what I thought was problems, and I was working on myself, and I was too much of a people pleaser, trying to please others, trying to still adapt after other people's expectations. And so I feel like even though I could easily have done this, chose this option earlier in my life, I wasn't strong enough to do it then, or I didn't have a clear mind or purpose. I couldn't see my purpose clearly enough to take the right options for me then. Or, of course, what I chose then was right, because I didn't know better, I didn't know any better. So I just, and that's why I think this pool that's coming now, these two pools, these two roads I have to choose between, at first glance, one is the unselfish one that can make me happy because I'm unselfish, unloved, and the other one is more, you can see more as a selfish one. But I think the selfish options is the best for everyone in the end, because if you make yourself happy, you can make lots of other people happy too. But if you choose to, for example, a timeline because you feel obligated to helping other people or loving other people or being in a certain way, or choose a certain type of job, or choose a special direction in life, that's maybe not your first option, but you feel like it's the right thing to do, then you might make people happy in the beginning, and you might feel good because you feel like people are encouraging you that you did the right thing and all of this. But in the long run, you might regret it, and you start to get resentful. You can start maybe to get bitter, and that will throw back negative energy on these people that in the beginning you made so happy because you maybe chose their choice, the choice that they would have preferred you do. So for me, it feels like right now, I haven't chosen a timeline yet, but in one way I have already, but I can still do a 180 if I like. There's still I feel like strongly it's a time gap right now where I have the opportunity to make a 180, and I feel strongly pulled to do it. So what I'm trying to do now is making it clear not to make too impulsive decision, because last time I did this, it was very impulsive, and I was thinking, did I do the right thing for years and years and years? Like, I didn't know for years if I did the right thing. And I don't want that to happen again. I want to be feeling like more sure that I did the right thing. And I think I will now, because I know myself better and I know what I want more, which I didn't back then. So what you need to figure out when you feel this strong pull, or when something happens, is not to make quick decision, because your ego always kicks in, which makes you fearful. When you are in unusual circumstances, or you're experiencing something that's shocking you, your ego kicks in because it wants to protect you, and it wants you to take the safe road back to safety as soon as possible. But the ego can also force you to make quick decision, because you can have ego's voice in your head too, saying like, if you don't make this choice by tomorrow or by a week, everything will be lost. So that will never be true. So never listen to that kind of voice, because that comes from your ego. But if you wait a few days, a few weeks, and let the emotions run through you, it could be fear, it could be grief, sadness, it could be anger, it could be inspiration, it could be a lot of positive energy as well. It doesn't need to be negativity only because you are going to change your life, you know. But usually it can be resistance from the ego in the beginning, and that's usually more low vibrational energies, like fear, like I said, fear, sadness, grief, anger, things like that. Even hesitation is from ego, hesitation to be scared to make a choice. But I advise you and myself to slow down and to first try to make it clear. Okay, so this has happened. Either something has happened, as I said, in the outside world, in your life, or within you. Like in my case, it's happening within me. I always am the one, I have to admit, I always said I want to have 10 lifetimes in one. So I asked for this myself before I was born, probably, to have many strong pulls to change my life during the course of my life. I asked for it because I want to experience a lot in one life. I don't just want to have one life in one place with a few with a few persons, you know, the same persons for the rest of my life. I want to experience the world. I want to experience more of the world. I want to learn about the world, about relationships with different people from different cultures and religions. And I want to live in different places. I want to just breathe in all the energies and all the differences that comes from being a human and living in different places on this earth. I just love it. So I asked for this, but it's still a bit shocking and upsetting when it's happening, when it's just changing, because I thought I already chose one timeline that was different, but I got sort of quickly, I felt full in a way from that timeline. It filled me up, and it also made me start to see the future in a way that wasn't completely satisfying to me on that timeline. I feel like I can reach a lot of more of my goals and become even more of the best version of myself and the highest version of myself, and reach even more goals if I choose a new timeline at this time, like to make a time leap, to make a time jump, so my soul, of course, already knew this when I quit my jobs and everything. I thought the job thing was a big thing, but now yet another thing is coming up in my life that I have to make decision about. And it's leaning towards that I need to change everything around in my life, not just one thing. Because to live the new lifestyle that I'm yearning for is to means that I need to make sacrifices with what I had before. So what I had before made me comfortable, made me happy then. I was happy then. But once this 180 once these different timelines start crossing and giving you the option to swap timeline, that's when you can start to feel this pull. If you have a better timeline somewhere else near you that you can jump to. I would describe it as maybe that you have two parallel trains running beside each other, and you are living your life, and you can just you are so close to the other train that and the doors are open at one point in time, and you just take a leap between one carriage to another carriage on another train. So I also believe that this timeline will be open for a certain time. It could be a few weeks, a few months. But after that, I feel like it will be closing again. So the options to swap won't be it. You will always have an option to change your life around, but when this timelines shift occurs and this pulls to make 180s, it means it's your soul calling you, because they want to make you aware of, okay, hello, here you had a plan, before you were born you had a plan to do this thing in life, but you also had an idea to do this thing, and now you have an option. I know you have been happy here, but you also right now in this time have an option to choose this timeline. If you move not too quick, but if you move within the nearest time, nearest future, and make a decision, you can choose to experience this as well, if you choose to. So that's what I'm thinking when you get it like from within, like I get it. That's what's happening. It's my higher self, Irina Chapung, my soul calling me to say, hey, now it's an opportunity to really reach your dreams faster if you just jump timelines to here. I know you feel like you have to sacrifice some happiness and some security here, but in the long run you will be more happy on the new timeline. So that's how I can describe it. I don't want to go too much into personal details, but that's how much I can explain about it right now, at least. And I hope you feel sort of inspired by this, what I'm experiencing right now, and maybe you can recognize that you have been through something like this once or several times in your life, or maybe it will come up soon in your future too. And that helps you not to be scared of it when it happens. Like, it's just that we have more options than we think when we are born into this world. And when the opportunity is right, when the time is right, our soul, it could be spirit guides, it could be something happening in the outside, like I said, something dramatic that helps you to make a timeline shift that's for your highest best. But there could be struggles in the beginning because we have to adjust to a new timeline. It could be fear, it could be struggles, it could be feeling resistance, like you don't know what to do, how to work and operate on the other timeline, but you will learn in time, and then you will realize that it was much closer to your dreams than the previous one, which was more of a security blanket, sort of like. Okay, so I think I've explained as much as I can explain right now about that, and I will take some help now and inspiration from some tarot cards and see if they have something to add. For you, and maybe for myself as well, maybe for both of us together. Let's see. So this is a simple card deck that it's easy to understand where it's heading to, what it means when you pick a card here. So I'm not asking anything because we're talking about swapping timelines, and we just need some insights and support in this. So these cards say breathe. Take deep breaths, and sort of like, this is sort of like, oh, my leg fell asleep. This is sort of like meditation practice. It could also be yoga. It could be, just calm yourself down. And that's probably what I need to do as well. So this is a card for me, and maybe for you too. You will feel it if it's for you as well. And it also says release old patterns, and I feel like I'm at that stage. So it definitely hits a place in my heart and my mind as well, my soul. It says release. Take deep breaths to awaken your energy and release old patterns. So it means that all of us have some destructive patterns. It could be ways of thinking, ways of acting. It could be things that sabotage for ourselves, or that stops us from making these choices towards our highest good. It could be, it could be many things, but old patterns, I definitely feel like I'm at that stage. Like, for example, this 180 has to do with releasing old karma, old patterns in my life. That doesn't mean that one of the timelines is right or wrong, but it means that no matter which timeline I choose, it has to do with releasing old patterns, negative patterns that stops me from experience full love, joy, happiness, and support. And it stops me from receiving and giving and receiving in balance, instead of, that's what I feel like it is. It's released old patterns. It's ways of thinking that doesn't serve my highest good. And it's about balance for me. So what can help to release these old energies and let new energies enter is, for me, always exercise, healthy food, exercise, especially when it's emotional problems and stuff. It's yoga and meditation is the best thing. Do you want to release aggression and impatience and stuff? The best thing is to just go out running. I do that sometimes too. But that's a step you can take to just calm yourself down, your thoughts, and to get clear about what to release. Some patterns are very deeply unconscious within us, so sometimes we don't even know what is stopping us or holding us back. But it's something that makes us unable to move forward in some situation. And if we don't think we can do it by ourselves, if we tried hard for maybe a few months, 6 months, 1 year, and we feel like we're getting nowhere, then it might be time to ask for help. And for me, as a new age person, I would never go to like a psychiatrist, for example, because I don't feel like they have the deepest knowledge of how to help people. I would never go to a psychiatrist. I would never go to a doctor, physical doctor, but I would go to, it's all about connection as well and chemistry between people. So I would go to someone I feel attracted to, either by intuition or by seeing a picture or by hearing that person speak, and maybe ask for sessions. Like, it could be healing sessions, it could be coaching sessions by talking, it could be what is it called when you hypnotize? Regression therapy. Regression therapy is if you feel like something is so deeply buried within you, like a memory that you don't know what it is and where it comes from, but you know that something is holding you back and stopping you from something, from being happy, from living your dream, then it could be that you must go to dig very deep, and that's hard to do by yourself, very hard. So if you go to a good regression therapist, they can help you, hypnotize you back to a stage either in your childhood or early youth, and bring you back memories and energies. We can also call it soul retrieval. There is different therapies that are called soul retrieval and regression therapy. I think they are quite similar in one way, because soul retrieval is to go back in time to take back pieces of your soul, energy imprints that you left with other people in other places in time. It could be in previous life because you experienced something traumatic. It doesn't need to be something big, but something that left a deep, like a scar on your soul or in your heart in some way. So that's soul retrieval, and usually it's shamanic. So shamans do this. They can use their drum and everything and hypnotize you. I tried that once. It was cool. Regression therapy, I never tried it. You obviously want to go to someone that you feel is good, that you can trust, because you are in their hands. Like they hypnotize you back to previous lifetime. Could be previous lifetime, could be just in your youth or in your childhood, to pick up those memories that are stopping you from living your fullest self, fullest dream in this now moment. And this is usually very, very effective and can in an instant change your life, actually, because once you get back those soul energy imprints, and once it comes up to the surface, to your conscious mind, usually people are ready to move on from it and to not to be blocked and hindered by it anymore. So it's usually when something is stuck in the subconscious, we just know that it's a dark energy, fear that covering something up. Then it's stopping us from moving forward in life. But once this come up to the surface, usually people release it and let go very quickly. It could be within seconds, minutes, or days after this regression session or soul retrieval session. Sometimes you have to go to many of them. Meanwhile, the traditional medicine, giving people pills, medicals, I'm not much for that anymore. Psychiatry, I'm not that. I never gone to a psychiatrist. I studied a little bit, and but I heard other people who go to psychiatrists, and they say, many of them say that maybe also one problem is that the psychiatrists of today don't have time for each patient as much as they need to understand them and dig deep into their problems. So it's sort of like they're trying to fit everyone into the model of one size fits all, which doesn't help most people. So that's why I wouldn't choose that as a first option, but you should always choose what's most safe for you and comfortable for you, of course, and what you believe in the most, because it's what you believe in that will work for you. Yeah, so okay, so I need to change some patterns. I know that already. And I'm on the way to doing so, definitely. Now is the time. And I think also that the reason why so much has come up within me the last months is because I haven't been working. For June, July, and August, I haven't been working at all, because I quit my job, as I said. So I've been through a very nice phase where I had time to spend with my family and friends. I rested, I enjoyed myself, had fun with them. But now, when I got back to my home, and I spent a few weeks here by myself, getting a lot of time to think and just relax. It's been lovely, but also I think that's what made the 180 so clear, the pull to do a 180 so clear, because I have no distractions right now, no distractions. And I also have all the time in the world to think about what I want to do. And yeah, so I'm thankful for that. I'm deeply thankful that I have this opportunity and that I gave myself this opportunity, because if I didn't ask for a bank loan, I could never afford quitting my job, because who would pay my bills? And I took bank loans before, and I always been successful in paying them back on time. So I knew I could do it. So I wasn't scared of taking the responsibility of a bank loan. And I took quite a large one, so I can just relax for at least 6 months if I need to. But preferably, I will start making money before that, of course. Okay, so let's see if we get some more information here from the universe. Okay, have some crystals here to create good energy around. So let's see, we can take a few more cards. I've been speaking for 45 minutes. Okay, a few more minutes will do. We can see a few more cards to guide us in the now moment. And I please ask the universe for all of us what you have to give us as a guidance for our highest good, all of us who are watching this session. Let's see. Okay, so it's the cards are reflecting what I'm feeling, at least. Usually, at least two of the cards. Usually, purple cards means personal development, or that you are in a crisis, you are in a period of growth, which I feel I am. And the first card mentioned balance. Before you take a decision, carefully weigh the options between your heart and your mind. Says the card, like before you choose to do a 180 in life, or to choose between two that can seem quite similar, important ways of living or being, or whatever it can be. Make sure that you have taken both into consideration, so you don't just rush away with your heart without thinking logical, like, do you have money? Is this right for you? So from my experience, the heart is usually always right, never the mind. But when you only follow your heart and not the mind, you might get a shock later that you actually went, the heart rushed you onto a road that actually requires a lot of growth and pain, like it did for me the first time. I just sort of made a quick decision because I felt like my ego was telling me, you have to do it soon or else, I had that voice. So I was probably, I don't know if it could have been in another way if I would have waited, because I also feel like if I waited too long, I would in the end be too scared to make the move, and I would stay in the comfort zone, which would mean less drama or no drama, but no growth as well. So if you only follow the heart, you might be shocked because you haven't been thinking logical about the repercussions or about the consequences of your actions. So that might make you suffer more if you just follow the heart without thinking things through. But if you also only follow the mind, you might miss up on big opportunities. The mind doesn't know, because the mind is not a psychic. The mind is not based on intuition. The mind is only based on logic and your experience in life so far and advice from other people. That is what your mind is based on. And if you have a very, very clever mind, smart mind, sure, it could lead you to big, big places, because maybe you read so many books, maybe you are very, very bright and have a high IQ. Sure, it could lead you very far. But the heart always have contact with the universe and your intuition, and the heart can see all your life basically without letting the mind know. So the heart can call you to places because the heart knows that in 5 years or in 10 years from now, you will reach that dream that you've been longing for, while the mind wants to control things and think like, I'm going to choose this specific plan. It's going to happen like this and like this and like this, because my logic says and my experience says that this is the best options and the safest options. So that's how the difference between the mind and the heart speaks to you. The heart can speak in an instant and the intuition and say, do this, go there, and you don't know why. While the mind always wants an explanation, and it also wants the mind expects to get promises like, heart, but if I follow you do you promise me that this will happen? But the heart can never promise you anything like that, you know. The heart is about taking risks, but if you are brave enough to take risks, the winnings will be huge, you know. You can win big time. While if you always take the safe road, the safe route, and following your mind, and you usually end up in old patterns, like the card says, I wouldn't do, I have to move on. And it will not make you grow as much or experience as much as you would if you follow your heart more. Yeah, and the other cards are, this I can't say is for me right now at least, so it might be for one of you. Because this is about to have too stressful life, too much work in life, out of balance, health problems because of stress. I mean, this could be a prediction about the future, but I feel more like it's in the now moment, so it might speak to some of you who will watch this now or later. But something is very stressful at this time in your life, like it's too much, you know, too much to handle. So that means that you ought to take a break, at least a short break, few hours, a few days, one day, to think things through, you know, where you're heading in life and how can you live life better right now. If you could make a choice right now, what would you do to make things better, you know, and see if you want, if that's a wise decision to take, you know. And this last card is about freedom and getting rid of, moving away from old patterns. So it's successful. Time to move on, the card says. The end of a phase or a situation. So this relates to the stressful work card in the middle. And for me, it relates to this 180 as I was talking about. So this card seems to be telling me to yeah, it's a 180. It doesn't, for me, it can be a 180 only within myself. It doesn't need to mean that I need to make big decisions in my outer world, but I feel like that's what it's pointing towards for me. That's what I feel pulled to do anyway. This is a moving on card, end phase, moving on, freedom. It's about freedom. And to relate to the people who feel like they live this life right now, work is stressful, out of balance in life. It also gives advice, first of all, to take help from others when offered, or ask for help. It could be your family, it could be a professional, like I said, it could be a coach, psychiatrist, it could be, if you feel like it has to do with something on the inside, you could go to regression or soul retrieval therapist as well. But for all of us, there's a time of change. This card means time of change, wind of change, like the song from the Scorpions is beautiful. Number 13, moving on, freedom, making yourself free, you know. So for both of us, it's about making the decision that frees us from these burdens. Burdens of stress, work, and problem with health. So there's a clear moving on from this negative pattern in life. And to deal with it now. Don't postpone it to the future, because there's no point in it. It just makes things worse normally. So when this comes up, it means that now is the time to take action, or this, at least this fall. Yeah. Okay. So let's try a last card from yeah, one more card here. The positive note ends with it jumped up, and this is still fall time before. This would be, I mean, the last, I think we all have made this new choice, new timeline choice before November, because this card symbolizes, it says 3 of fire, but for me, if you look at it, it symbolizes just before the snow falls, but it can still be cold. So it could be anywhere from September, October to November. But at that time, things will be fine again. You will be in an abundant state. Things are looking very good and positive. Be patient now because, your plans, you can start to make new plans now. The card says abundance. So there is a time of a little bit of a struggle now, the coming weeks, could be months. But it's all about how quick we are to figure out the new path ahead and to fit our life accordingly to that, to choose a timeline. This is how I want to live, and to try to make the outer change after that. But it all starts with an inner energy shift. Nothing can happen in our lives on the outside, in relationships, at work, in our health, unless we do a shift in our energy. Because it's always our inner energy frequency that affects what people we attract, if we attract disease or not, if we are in balance. It's all about the inside. So the card encourages us to meditate, do activities, what we prefer, like yoga. It could be running, it could be some type of exercise. At least as we need to move and breathe and just be in the now, because moving helps us to be in the now. And when the decision is made, we can just start on our new timeline. But it's like a time period now for a few days or weeks where we are pending on these decisions in our life, what we can change to make things better, or to satisfy, I don't know how to say, but to satisfy this longing or this urge we have within. Okay, one more card, just one last one. 1 hour almost, that's long. Okay, just one last card. I recognize this. I don't know this without by heart, so I have to check what it means. Recognize it though. Okay, dreaming. Okay, so this card says pay attention to your dreams when you're dreaming at night. For me, I'm lucky. I usually always remember my dreams every day when I wake up, and I have very many memories of dreams actually. Even since I was a child, I can still remember dreams I had as a child. But okay, so this card is saying both daydreaming at daytime when we are awake and at night is playing an important part in our spiritual development in our life. And the answers we seek is within these dreams. We get answer to dreams when we sleep. And it could be when you daydream, you usually daydream yourself to a place where you feel better than you do in your current life. It's a way of escaping, but it's also an indication on where we want to go in life. What are you daydreaming about? Is it something that is possible for you now? What you are daydreaming, can you actually implement that in your daily waking life? That's a question we need to ask ourselves. Okay, so it says that we receive messages and advice through dream time. I know I do that. I've done that for many years. Because I always, as I say, I remember my dreams, and I've always been reflecting on myself and my spiritual development. So I get actually a lot of advice and even friendship in my dreams. Okay. Also, this card mentions meditation yet again. So before we choose between timelines or before we do this 180, if we're feeling called to, meditate, take note of your dreams at night and your daydreaming. And this strengthens our intuition to know better, to see the way ahead more clearly. And also meditation will help remembering our dreams for those of us who are not so good at remembering our dreams. I think we will finish there because it's been 1 hour already. But I hope you felt inspired by this, and I feel a little bit in a lower vibration at the moment because I feel sad at the moment. A little bit feels like my heart is sad. It's some grieving part of something in me is grieving and healing, and through this shift. And as I said, I'm about perhaps to do a 180 in life. I thought I already made big changes by quitting my jobs, but Spirit is knocking my door yet again and saying, hey, you forgot this part, you might want to consider looking at this side of your life too, So that's what I'm going to do in the closest days and weeks and see where I go from there. So thank you for this session with you, and I hope you got something out of it. And if you haven't visited my channel before, you can always subscribe and watch my other sessions that I made. I just made one other in English, the rest are in Swedish, but from now on I will try to make most of them in English if I'm not feeling called to do them in Swedish sometimes, because I think I will be able to reach out to more people in that way. Anyway, thank you. I wish you a blessed weekend and a blessed coming week ahead, and enjoy life. And don't take it too seriously, because we have many lives. That's what I believe. Okay, bye, and namaste.